evidence. The president recently suggested to some young Americans that things around the world have never been better.
If you had to choose any moment to be born in human history, not knowing what your position was going to be, who you were going to be, you choose this time. The world is less violent than it has ever been.
More violence in Missouri. It's been more than 2 months since a Ferguson police officer shot and killed teenager Michael Brown. Of course, that led to violent clashes between police and protesters that raged for weeks.
It's 11 p.m. where you are. Good evening to you. Violence back on the streets again. Can you take us through what's happening?
Well, Rory, up until now, it would have been hard to imagine a moment where we would have to report in helmets from the streets of Missouri. But unfortunately, the scene here is becoming extremely resembling to a war zone.
We've got a lot of pent-up anger and bitterness and misunderstanding. What I continue to believe in is that this country wants to move beyond these kinds of divisions.
I want to go home.
The world is less violent than it has ever been.
Unrest continued all night in Keene as police and riot gear clashed with hundreds of people in the street.
This, though, was an incredibly different situation as far as City Manager McLean says. He says people started drinking early in the afternoon by the hundreds, people coming from out of state, and then the fight started.
From a Kenyan family that includes generations of Muslims. As a boy, I spent several years in Indonesia and heard the call of the azan at the break of dawn. I have known Islam on 3 continents before coming to the region where it was first revealed. That experience guides my conviction. You're absolutely right that John McCain has not talked about my Muslim faith. As the Holy Quran tells us, the Holy Quran teaches that, the Holy Quran tells us, and the Holy Quran also says, arches and soaring spires, timeless poetry and cherished music, elegant calligraphy, and places of peaceful contemplation. They have fought in our wars, they have served in our government, they have stood for civil rights, they have started businesses, they have taught at our universities, they've excelled in our sports arenas, they've won Nobel Prizes.
If you stab someone.
A day after a deadly rampage, federal investigators now working to learn more about Alton Nolan. He's now the only suspect in a gruesome attack, leaving one woman stabbed and another beheaded. And tonight we have team coverage bringing you the latest on this investigation. More on the suspect's ties to Islam.
So let's talk about beheadings, shall we? They're the MO of ISIS militants, not the kind of crime you'd expect to hear in a small town outside Oklahoma City. But now the FBI is investigating after a woman was beheaded while working at a food distribution warehouse. And now we are learning that this ISIS style of killing may not be a coincidence. When we go to CNN's Martin Savage, he is following it all for us. So Martin, we're hearing that the FBI may be called in to investigate claims that he was trying to convert people to Islam.
And these are the individuals that are from nation states like Pakistan, Afghanistan, Chechnya. And the concern would be, who are these people, and is there the probability that these individuals could come into the United States to potentially carry out a terrorist attack?
Yeah, if you're talking about protecting Americans, ISIS is coming across the southern border.
Let me ask you that. You say, wait a second, hold it. Stop for 1 second.
But they are going to be bombing American cities coming across from Mexico.
All right, let me get a question. Let me ask a question. You say that they're coming in the southern border, which is, changes all the dynamics. Do you have any information or any evidence that they're actually coming in the southern border now?
Yes. I
Tell
have
me what you
information
know.
that I know that at least 10 ISIS fighters have been caught coming across the Mexican border in Texas.
A lot of our viewers around the world are going to go in, what, conspiracy theorists? That's not how they're going to see this. You say ISIS is basically something that's been made for America to go in and attack Saddam Hussein, yes, eventually.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The jihadists have been trained in secret CIA and U.S. Special Forces bases inside Turkey and inside Jordan over the past year. Obama administration refused to give military help when al-Maliki's government in Iraq was begging for it more than a year ago. And then when ISIS makes this horrendous military victory, and if you look at the personnel, the commanders, they're from Chechnya, it's an extremely dubious collection. Al-Baghdadi, some people say that's a manufactured name. So the whole thing really stinks, the whole ISIS scare. And I think that is someone's concoction to provide a pretext for military intervention.
Customers this morning when an emergency alert appeared taking control of their televisions. Problem is, there was no emergency. Fox 5 senior digital editor Will Nunley has followed this story all morning. He joins us in the newsroom with the latest. Will, a lot of people talking about this one.
Oh man, they are indeed, Lisa. Imagine the panic this caused for thousands of UVerse customers. There you are catching up on morning TV when an emergency alert comes across the screen saying a special message is on the way from the White House.